Of the burning issue here on 5FM Radio 899 in Lusaka and the surrounding areas. And of course, we are also live on many other platforms. We are live on our partner media houses, being one of them being BMTV. And BMTV is on channel 114 on Topstar. They are also live on the Facebook page, which is BMTV Zambia. Look out for that page, share it, like it, and leave us a comment if you can. We are also live on Katete FM on 103.3 in Katete, covering the rest of Eastern Province. Remember, also live on Spice FM in Kafwaya on 91.1 FM, and also covering the rest of Central Province, and ZFM in Kapiri as well on 100.3 FM. We are live on the Copper Belt on Platinum Radio on 99.7, and not forgetting Mansa is also tuned in. We're live on Tuta FM, that is on 90.7, covering the rest of Luapula Province. Isunga Radio in Senga Hill, Northern Province, is live, and grateful to have you tuned in on 88.3. All right, and so we are also live on our Facebook page. Look out for it. It's 5FM Radio Zambia. Like that page. Leave us a comment. We'll be grateful to hear from you. And I'm your host, Zachariah Banda. Now, today we are privileged to host Honorable Mutotwe Kafwaya. He is the past former, or rather the past member of parliament for Lunte, and of course, and I will be getting back to that. And of course, he is also a former minister in the PF regime. And remember, now he is the chairman for finance in the Tonse Alliance. And it's good to have you on the program. We haven't talked in a long time.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Zach.
How have you been?
Well, thanks. And I'm privileged to be back, on 5FM.
Absolutely.
Yes, good morning to you, and good morning to our listeners, wherever they may be.
Great. Now, I spoke about the fact that you are the immediate past member of parliament for Lunte. Any hint that you will be recontesting that position, that seat?
No, nominations were already done, and I'm not on the ballot.
You're not. No. Definitely, I know. But then, what's the plan?
Well, the plan is to keep contributing to the nation, perhaps in a different way, and also, to keep speaking to people whose lives may require the little experience we have gathered.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you? Have you fielded in any candidate from the Tonse side?
Yes, we have.
Okay.
Yes, we have.
And you are giving that person maximum support, I believe?
I'm giving that person the support I can, yes.
Right.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
Now, today we're going to discuss a lot of things around the economy. Also taking advantage of the fact that you are actually, chairman for finance in the Tonse Alliance, meaning you are very close to obviously advising the leadership on the economic side of the party, the economic plan of the party, and we will dwell more on that.
Yeah.
Let me start by first of all cognizant that also just to alert you that I will make a lot of reference from the fact that you served in the Patriotic Front and you were part of the Patriotic Front government. We will look at the growth in as far as the economy in the UPND regime with a few reference coming from the time of your regime.
You are conditioned. You've been conditioned by UPND to think in that fashion.
Not really, because it's the only closest we can make comparisons to. We can't compare the UPND with the future that we don't know about, but we can make reference.
By that I mean, UPND has been in power for 5 years.
Of course.
So you can compare 2026 to 2025 or 2025 to 2024. You are good to do that.
Of course, but I would like to go as far. I would like to go as far as
your interest is
from
the
2021.
period, why not?
Yeah, because obviously they are basing their economic growth saying from 2021 to where we are. These are the economic milestones that we've achieved, and of course, mainly, especially, they are basing this positivity on their side on investor confidence.
I'm your guest.
Thank you very much. I'm grateful. Now, Honorable Kafwaya, before we discuss what is wrong with the current government, I would like us to, first of all, what is burning now is that the whole idea of the Tonse Alliance wanting to come into government is to come and what I would say, come and misuse what the UPND today are saying they have managed to put in reserves, that 6.4 billion US dollars in reserve. And I think it is on record that Thabo Kawana, the Permanent Secretary for Information and Media, has categorically said that's all you are eyeing for.
Okay.
You are speaking things you want to come and do because you know that you will find these amounts of money in the reserve.
Zaki, can I begin by wishing the Lungu family all the very best in the judgment, the anticipated judgment.
Yeah. Okay.
I do wish them all the very best. Looking at how much that family has suffered in respect of the court process that ensued following the death of the President Edgar Lungu. May his soul rest in peace. So today we are hoping that, I am hoping that the wishes of the family can be reinforced by the judicial system of South Africa. If it did happen that the family chose for government participation in the burial of their loved one, the way government wishes, let it be the will of the family. I think is grossly unfair to impose on the family on how they should deal with their relative who had wishes and they too have their own wishes. So all the best to the Lungu family today. Coming back to your question, Tonse Alliance wants to come and misuse the reserves which have been created by the UPND government. 6.4 billion, you say? I want to begin to answer your question by saying I have difficulties in the credibility of UPND numbers. Okay? But even with that doubt in my mind, $6.4 billion is quite some progress made, which must be acknowledged by myself and everybody who listens to that number. Is an impressive number. Now, reserves are built over a period of time, as you know. And you put it very correctly. You are starting from the time PF was in office. Okay, during that time, I think we left reserves at 2.9.
Right.
And then we also had special drawing rights in that same year, which amounted to something like 1.3 billion. So when you put together the reserves and the special drawing rights, you had an amount of 4.2 billion. So from 2021 up to now, UPND has added 2.3 to make it 6.4 thereabout. Okay, it's impressive. The number is good. Is it a credible number? Time will tell. And I say so because I've had to listen to UPND members and UPND civil servants arguing about published figures in the census. I'm sure you recall. And they argued in public. Somebody even said the president would be very annoyed. He said, check these particular numbers in the 3 wards of Monze district. Okay, make sure that these numbers reflect the wishes of the president. So, in terms of the numbers that have been produced by the UPND administration, I remain skeptical. But let's assume this number is credible. And as I said, it's a good number. But a good number for what? It's a good number for our reports. It's a good number for those who read the progress that the country has made. Can you believe that it is in this same country where reserves have grown from 4.2 billion to 6.4 billion, and yet the country kept its people load-shedded for 3 to 4 years? Can you believe that? So why are you keeping the money if you couldn't import electricity to cover the people? So this is what we have been talking about in the Tonse Alliance. We are saying we have to transform this economy to be able to act for the people. This money, you see, when you make reserves, you are saying on a day that we are unable to deploy, the recurring resources from taxes and fees and all of that, we are not able to cover our expenses. We fall back on the reserves. Were we able to cover the cost of supplying electricity to the Zambian people the past 4 years? No, we were not able to do so. This is why we load-shedded the people. Now, if you did load-shed the people on account of failure to have sufficient resources to import sufficient electricity and give to the people, why are you telling me today about these reserves? When you have reserves, my friend, you can't keep farmers being soaked on the rain in order to get their hard-earned money. So what I'm saying is that this economy must be transformed to begin to speak to people. If you have money reserved somewhere, deploy it on the people. Deploy it on the people. Worse still, it is this time that we have heard of, unthinkable amounts of illicit financial flows. If you go to the Financial Intelligence Center, you are going to be alarmed regarding how much money has gone out of this country. So while my friend the PS praises the UPND government for this, I would like to remind him that the people have suffered, serious cost of living because of the lack of electricity for the 3 to 4 years that UPND load-shedded them, and yet they are keeping this money. You are keeping this money for what? And for who? Who are you trying to impress with the numbers which cannot affect the people positively? So I find these declarations, to be very honest with you, the UPND type. But thank God you have an alternative in the Tonse Alliance. The alternative in the Tonse Alliance is saying national resources must be used for the people of Zambia to ease their lives. Where there is need to subsidize. Like there has been need to subsidize electricity and fuel, including electricity, by the way, because electricity has been very expensive. If you ask anybody today, You know, 300 kwacha electricity, will evaporate like, like water being boiled on a gas stove. It will just evaporate. You won't even know where the power has gone. And then when a UPND minister is asked, even on the floor of the House, he's going to say, we shall investigate. But Parliament will be dissolved. There will never be an answer from that minister because he has now gone. The only person who is accountable now is their president. But their president, if you go to him, you'll be wasting time because even him, he was asked, what about this this so-called employment using a database? He promised, we shall check, we shall come back to you on this. This is why you put us in office. Up to today, my friend, you will never get the answer from this same president. So leaving a dissolved minister, going to the president who still has a mandate, it's the same story. It's a promise and it ends there. So I'm sorry, my brother. I feel that these reserves should have translated in people, feeling it that we are now collecting our own money. The country has recovered from the effects of the COVID-19, of course, which caused untold misery to our people because businesses were shut. This recovery should go down to the very people who are suffering. There ought to be medicine in schools, even where you are providing, feeding programs in schools. It has to be decent feeding. Where you are providing all of these services to the people must feel that we are now improving. Is that the case today?
So PS Tabakawana is right. If you got into government, you would use that money because for you it's inevitable, right?
Why wouldn't whose money is this? Whose money is this? It's for the people. This money is not just to sit on papers. It's for the people. Where there are critical problems, you must be able to look at those critical problems and solve them using this money.
Now, the president did ask a very, what I would say, a question really that has not fully been answered. To say, I see people, which is obviously was making reference to Tonse Alliance and the leadership, to say they've been in power before, they were a part of it. They've come now, wearing a different clothing altogether or a skin, wanting to rule again. But the big question he was saying, to come and do what? All right.
Big question.
Now, should Zambians truly trust economic advice from leaders who were part of the Patriotic Front administration that left Zambia in what I would say debt distress and eventually default on its external date in 2022?
Okay.
In 2020.
Okay, no, thank you so much. They have been in power before. He too has been in power before.
As we speak, yes.
Yes, he has been in power. So he must not just look at the other groups. He must also look at himself. What has been his performance? Comprehensively. What has been his performance? He has increased reserves. He load-shedded people for 3 years. Over 3 years. Okay? He made the promises to these same people. Did he fulfill those promises? Has he united this country? Or he has divided it? Okay? Can any Zambian out there tell you that this country is more united than it was in 2021? Or it's more divided? I think it's more divided. Okay? Did he not promise to repeal the cyber laws? What has he done to them? Hasn't he enhanced them? He has even added the CCTV acts. Okay? Didn't he condemn Bill 10? Didn't he dribble his way into enacting Bill 7? The same president. So when you look at, he has to look at his performance also. He must remember even his most recent promises. I'll look into the issue of the database employment. Has he done that? Has he done that? No, he hasn't. So when he looks at those who were there, he must also realize that he too has been given an opportunity. So people are looking at how he has performed the same way they are looking at how others did perform. Okay, so I am sorry. And even when you talk about this default in 2020, I think that default should be understood in its correct context. Zaki, you know, that me, sitting as a public servant, I had COVID. And I was supported by the Levi Mwanawasa Hospital. 4 days I was on oxygen, for 4 days. And I know that a number of people had that same problem. Some of them were unfortunate enough to lose their lives. Businesses collapsed. You know, many businesses which depended on, cross-border activities ceased to operate. So if you just say you defaulted, though the country defaulted during your administration, what were the circumstances that led to that default? And as the country recovered, yes, it has recovered. Why are we still talking about over 60% poverty in a country that recovered? A country that can garner $6.4 billion in reserves. Why are we having that poverty? Why are we still having people having to make cooperatives to buy meal to eat, to be able to eat? People have to come together to buy 1 bag of meal, which was supposed to be 50 kwacha, as per promise of this same president, who says you want to come to do what? In any case, there are a few people from the PF who may come back to power, okay, because they've joined Tonse Alliance, which is winning the forthcoming elections. But assuming the UPND won, will there be no PF in UPND? Today, PF is in an alliance with the UPND, and it's a shame to even see our Honor the Vice President singing for the UPND alliance, for the PF alliance partners, that Charitobeke Chiwatu, Charitobeka. I don't know if you saw that. The people have said to Aisa Mukubomba Nemwe, and the madam says, even if we are in an alliance with you, but I have to take Charitobeke Chiwatu, Charitobeka. How do you feel you are the president of the PF and you've taken your party to UPND and they are telling you that boat is broken in your face? It's very unfortunate. I have seen that, and it's all over. So they ridicule you. You are criminals, but you are proudly singing their praises and say these are the best people to work with. I'm sorry. My friends who have joined UPND are the same ones that the UPND have been calling Masholi throughout, the criminals, and so on. You left a debt trap. The country defaulted because of you. So for me, I would rather you rebrand and you form another team. You bring in fresh air and be able to move and offer an alternative to this government, which is producing these good numbers, numbers which can't do anything to the people. The people will be allowed to live on extremely expensive electricity, but yet the reserves are 6.4 billion. Okay, how much more should these reserves have been if the $82 million were not sent by mistake to China by UPND ZESCO? The UPND ZESCO sends money, $82 million, not 82 million kwacha, $82 million by mistake. This UPND government has done nothing about it, and they promise to do nothing about it. With all this money, my friend, the pollution of the Kafwaya River by that misfortune in Sino metals should have been investigated, and today we should be sitting with a report and remedial measures that government is taking to safeguard the lives of the people. But what has UPND done? Nothing. UPND has done literally nothing. Even their employee who made a deal there and obtained money by corrupt practices ran away into South Africa. Okay? Into South Africa and could not even decently resign, to a government that gave him a decent job. He ran away. Kuyachitra resigned per WhatsApp. And the guy cannot even be followed up. Then you hear the government is free, wants JJ by all means. They want him here by all means. Okay? One minister even told us we have him now. We were waiting for him. Everybody was eagerly waiting for JJ to return because a minister had said we have him. The next day we see is JJ, talking on his platform. It's very unfortunate. So I'm sorry, my friend. Let's pay attention to the people. Let's use these resources to help our people because it is the people we save who matter, not these numbers. These numbers are meaningless if people are suffering, my friend.
Let's discuss the economic growth and performance of the government. I mean, of this country under the UPND government. I mean, Zambia's GDP growth was around, again, I'll make reference, 2.8% in 2020.
Yeah.
While current projections place growth above 5%, right? Isn't that evidence that the economy is moving in the right direction, despite the many challenges the country continues to face?
Yes, the numbers are moving in the right direction. Okay? The numbers...
Not the economy?
I don't know. It's the numbers which
because
are moving.
We measure the economy by numbers.
The numbers are moving in the right direction. Remember what I told you about the credibility of UPND as a political formation regarding the pronouncements on numbers. I told you, every Zambian should be skeptical. They should develop professional skepticism when you are talking about numbers projected by UPND. Now, there's a possibility these numbers could be correct. There's a possibility.
You should know. I mean,
no.
You're a professional in these areas.
I wouldn't know if these numbers are correct. Because for me, you see, a growing economy, it must demonstrate a number of things. Okay? It must demonstrate that people are better off. Now, assuming these numbers are credible, our focus as Tonse Alliance is to ensure these numbers translate in the welfare of the majority Zambians. This is why we are calling our agenda a transformative. We have to transform. Listen, romantic numbers are useless when people are suffering. That's the point. I think this ought to be your takeaway. This ought to be your takeaway. I don't care what number you're going to tell me, even if you tell me we grew the economy by 10%. If the lives of the people are dwindling, then that growth is for nothing. It should not even be told to the people. What you have to tell me is that in 2021, you were eating 1 meal a day. Now you are able to eat 2.5 meals. Now, that's progress for the people. Because what matters to us as a people is to progress at individual level, at family level, community level, at my own family level. What improvements have I seen in the community? What facilities have changed, for God's sake? What roads have been created? What clinics have been created? And how have these clinics been resourced with medicines, with medical personnel, and so on, so that in case we have a sick relative and we take them to that particular hospital, they'll be able to be attended to and they go back to production. They go back to national service. This is what matters. But in this country, my friend, count the number of clinics that have been built by the UPND government and tell me what number that is. And then when you do tell me, you tell me how many people are actually receiving care, decent care in these particular facilities. You'll be told and you'll be shocked that this government has been able to facilitate theft of even donated medicine. Okay, this is how inhuman a government can be. The American people donate medicine, you steal it. Can you have hope that this government can be able to, to offer you any decent service? No. And for the president, I would like him to reflect on the theft of the medicine at ZAMSA. Which angered the American people, causing their ambassador to even speak so openly about it. Okay, reflect on that and tell us, what type of leadership that is, and compare it to the previous regime. Tell us when donated medicine were stolen in the previous government. Okay, and I know you are going to move away quickly from that. You go to debt. I'm telling you, the debt situation in our country has worsened. It has worsened because whereas you are talking about foreign debt of around $12 billion, you are now talking in terms of 16 billion thereabout. Okay, what about domestic debt? It has more than doubled. It has more than doubled, and then. Look, my brother, you have Zambians who have tendered, services, who have made supplies to government. Poor people who borrowed money to satisfy orders coming from government. As of September of this year, when the former Minister of Finance, Dr. Mutotwe, came to the National Assembly, he was saying we are dealing with $74 billion, 74 billion kwacha worth of arrears to the Zambians who supplied, products and services to government. That is the amount they were sitting on. In Congole, esho ubuteko bwakwatila bena Zambia. 74 billion kwacha. And in his budget, do you know what he said? He was planning to dismantle that by 4 billion only. Now mkwata 6.4 ama reserves. Why are you planning to only dismantle 4 billion out of 74 billion? Then 70 mkashireba nani? You understand? So these are some of the things that must show you that the interest of UPND is to demonstrate numbers, romantic numbers, which are totally meaningless. If it were me, I would rather we give back the people we owe so that they save their property on which they borrowed. People have had their property foreclosed on account of failing to pay back their loans because government has failed to pay them. People have had their companies folding, the contractors, who actually did a number of roads, including, gravel roads in our rural areas, have not been paid. They have laid off a number of their workers because they can't go on. So, my brother, this money should apply to the people. Pay attention to the people. When you apply part of this money to paying contractors, suppliers and contractors to government, what you are doing is you are stimulating the economic environment for further business. And when you grow business, that is a sure way of creating employment. When you create more employment, your taxes are going to expand. When you expand taxes, you offer more and better services to the people, assuming you also close corruption and illicit financial flows, which have escalated as well from 2 billion kwacha in 2021 to about $10 billion. Okay, the cumulative figure, from the time UPND came into power. around $10 billion, which is near the debt that that UPND found, the foreign debt that UPND found. So you see that we can do well as a country.
But let's look at what the UPND's argument is really, because I mean they argue that the economic reforms, fiscal discipline, and debt restructuring have restored confidence among investors. Do you completely disagree with this assessment?
Debt restructuring, fiscal discipline. Listen. We have to be honest to ourselves. When you restore confidence or develop confidence, then you should see more and more people participating in your economy. Okay, how many new companies have opened in our country? Parmalat closed. Parmalat closed their production on account of a bad economic environment. And a letter was written. This economic environment is so bad, as Parmalat we cannot continue to operate. Okadeco on Kafwaya Road closed on account of a bad economic environment. Now, I've given you two of the companies, but earlier I was talking about contractors who have not been paid from the time UPND came into power, who have laid off a lot of workers. That is a bad environment. We're talking about suppliers to government. That is a bad environment. So, from where you stand, tell me which company or which new companies have come into the country as a result of a good environment. You tell me. This country is so bad right now that no discerning investor can put money into this country. It's so bad right now. The governance of our country, Zambia, is at its lowest. The corruption in UPND will never be matched by any government. This I can tell you. Never. In this government, my friend, you can trade gold in the presidential pavilion. You can have an illegal plane landing and being ushered to park at the presidential pavilion. In this country, it's possible. It has happened before. If those things don't move you, my friend, if you are not moved by those acts, I don't know what else will. I am deeply moved. And gold can be changed at a declaration of a minister into zinc and copper. At a declaration of a minister. Do you understand? In this country, my friend, a mine can be given away for nothing. Mopani has been given away. Mopani has been given away for nothing. Treasury receiving no money at all. No money at all. A mine belonging to the Zambian people given away to some foreigners. Okay? To some foreigners. So you tell me, what environment is that? What need I go back to the dual carriageway? I may not need to. But you know what has happened on the dual carriageway? The so-called Lusaka and Ndola dual carriageway. Everybody knows what has happened. It's a project being funded by government. Government is funding that project through a loan from a government entity. And government is developing the road through RDA contracting havoc. But you go and get Moik from some country, come and set them up, and they become the concessionaire. On what account? What is the issue? The money is coming from within, from a government entity. The road is being developed by government. RDA has contracted havoc. to do the road. So what is Moik doing? Why isn't UPND telling all of us what Moik is doing? How can you tell me that UPND government failed to talk to NAPSA? They had to go and contract Moik to come and talk to NAPSA on behalf of AVIC. Be serious. Now, this is the country you are talking about, and you are talking about a good governance environment. A good governance environment. ZCCMIH has lost 51% shares of Mopani. ZCCMIH is a Zambian company, is a company for the Zambian people. The same way they lost those shares in the other mine in Northwestern Province. Okay? Did you hear about the procurement of maize from Tanzania? A good government procured maize with diseases to come and feed its people. You put them to task. They were hiding until pressure mounted. That is when they began to tell you, the companies which were selling that maize. Is this an environment you are saying the governance is so good? When somebody talks about the rule of law, they are going to refer you to Intercity. They are going to take you to all those bus stations and the markets. For them, in their small minds, that is the rule of law. It is all about thuggery. That is, if you contain thuggery, it is the rule of law. But listen, a person had his cheek plucked out. Isaya ukumufumia Isaya omuntu because of wanting to contest as an independent in one of the Monze constituencies. Ukumufumia Isaya, not from anybody else, but by people who are known. You imagine it was a PF or former PF person involved in that. What noise could have ensued? What arrests could have ensued? Today, as we speak, a guy who went to lodge in nomination papers in Mazabuka was followed by some people who are very well-known people. Some of them were told, serve in the presidency, and a fight ensued. Gary Nkombo kuposa kofi and those punches never landed na nechbaka. Aposa kwa kofi nechbaka. Today Gary Nkombo has been reported to police for allegations of having stolen some money. When the whole scene is on video. It's the same thing that happened in Kawambwa, if you recall, when Mumbipiri and Jinsenga were arrested. They were accused of having stolen some laptop and some money. Similar figures. Okay. So where for you does the rule of law reside? And if you think of these things I've told you, which both events happening in Southern Province, and I extended it to what happened in Kawambwa, go to Northwestern Province. Now, this person has been attacked not for anything, but for expressing his democratic right to participate in an election. And he has said, since you don't want me in your party, I am going to contest as an independent. I will contest as an independent. That also is a problem. A minister should even go to the public and start begging people to withdraw. What type of country is that? And then what are you talking about? Rule of law. The law, my friend, protects your interests in participating in an electoral process. So if you, Mr. Zaki, you want to participate in an electoral process, you should be able to participate with the backing of the law. The same way I should be, the same way Jack Mwimbu should be protected And you can't even say, no, you have been in parliament for 25 years, pela kwava no chance. Takuli, if he wants, let him participate. Just go and defeat him. Takuli at no, Kafwaya, you have been there for 10 years, give your friend a chance. No, if I want, let me participate. The responsibility of government is to apply the law in my protection. Was that the case in Mazabuka?
Let me take you back to economic indicators. I mean, copper production, because you brought up the mining sector, copper production is expected to increase sustainably or substantially in the coming years due to obviously renewed mining investments. Okay, and I would like to hear from you whether Tonse does support the current government's mining strategy. Or indeed, should you get into government, you would change it. And maybe additionally to that, what is your realistic target of copper production by 2030? Considering, I mean, your opposing colleagues have indicated that theirs is 3 million tons by then. Do you have any yourselves?
Any target?
Yeah.
You see, there is now again. This is a good number. It's a very good number. It was pronounced in 2022. We are going to allow for mining concessions, further concessions, in order to facilitate for investments in the mining sector so as to increase the production to 3 million tons in 10 years. Okay? At that time, the production of copper was around 800 MT, metric tons, thereabout, at that time. As things stand now, 5 years later, production is at 840 metric tons. 50% of the time has elapsed. The UPND's government has increased the production of copper by 40 metric tons. But they still have, this morality to continue talking about the target of 3 million tons. This is madness.
But it is expected that you would understand, considering the 50% of the time lapse that you're making reference to was obviously a period of really trying to create an environment for mining investment to happen. And I think
the concessions were made in 2022. These concessions were extended in 2023. The environment was already made. And don't tell me that because there was load shedding, so the production went down. It's a good argument. But you have reserves of 6.4. If you are concerned about mining, and then you are building reserves, the two, these are antithetical positions, totally contradicting. So the thing is this: 5 years later, you have added 40 metric tons. 5 years later. Your simple question, do you agree with the mining policy of UPND? No, I do not agree with it. I do not. Listen, the players in business are not stupid. These players in business are the people from whom you must learn. They are the ones who are sitting with the cost structure. They are the ones who are sitting with their objectives. They are the ones who are sitting with, their value targets. You can't come as government and say you are going to add this value to your enterprise. It would be sensible for UPND to be saying, we are going to ensure that Mopani and KCM, which at the time belonged to government, are going to produce so much. But you can't talk about private enterprises and force them to produce a number for which requires a level of investment that they are not prepared to actually inject. It's madness. Now, because UPND is so obsessed with numbers that sound good. They will tell you that we shall increase. Are you mining? You yourself, UPND government, where are you mining? Nowhere. You gave away Mopani. So why is it that it is you who is making the target? Who have you consulted? What pledges have those people, enterprise owners you consulted given you? Is that for information consistent? So create an environment where players in every sector can play independently. By the way, just to say that is serious interference in a critical sector that is supposed to be, the single most significant contributor, to your economy. You can't be that is a careless projection, it's a careless statement, and the government which reasons cannot produce such a statement. Okay? So, sorry, I don't agree. I have never agreed with the UPND. I gave my advice when I had the platform to do so. And my advice was go and sit with the mining players. Let them be the ones to set targets for 10 years. You can't set production targets for enterprises you don't control. As a matter of fact, you had a small chance when Mopani belonged to the people. But now you have given it away. You haven't even sold it. You've given it away because the treasury received no money for the 51% shares that you gave away.
Do you have plans for the mining sector?
Of course.
Tonse Alliance?
Of course.
How would you change things?
Listen,
considering you have that record where I think that the UPND have sung it even more now that you have been choosing to mine in the court.
Tonse Alliance has got no record in the mining sector. Tonse, it is UPND who have a record of setting targets. If you are talking about PF, it's a different matter. Tonse Alliance has got a manifesto. Tonse has no record whatsoever in the mining sector. No record. The only record that Tonse Alliance has got is reflected in the declarations in the manifesto.
So what is your plan around the mining sector?
So you see, for us, as we are saying, we
get back Mopani. Is that on your list? I mean, if it was given away for free, you might just want to ask it back.
No, Mopani is a serious case. Mopani is like the dual carriageway. Those will be reversed. Those transactions will be reversed with sanctions. They won't be reversed just with serious sanctions.
On who?
Because you see, on whoever is found to have been a key player in those illicit transactions. There will be serious sanctions. Because people must learn to be decent with public property. Those are public assets. Leaders need to be, they need to be serious with the manner in which they administer public property. You can't just be careless. You see, when you are in leadership, like we have been, or like I have been for the past 10 years, I have been given a responsibility to superintend over issues that affect the people. I can't be selfish or careless. I can't accumulate all the wealth to myself. It is wrong. I also can't cause, the loss of property carelessly. That is also wrong. What I have to do is to be prudent with people's resources. So those, in no uncertain terms, they will be reversed.
How many are due to be reversed so far?
No.
Other than those two,
I have talked about those two because my conviction is very clear about them.
Okay.
It has been. It is very clear. The other undertakings, it's normal, business. It's normal business. So. For us, our vision is to support these mega mining corporations, to provide them a stable, predictable, and also an environment that offers a win-win situation, both for investors whose money has been deployed in those particular industries, but also for the people who own the resource which is being exploited to maximize value for their shareholders.
So reversing the Mopani decision is another. What then do you plan to do with it after?
I mean, there should be options. Government can keep Mopani to itself, and it becomes a mine from which you draw benchmarks. Okay, for decision management, government can still dispose it off to players in a normal way, in a legal way. Remember, in this country, we have suffered these issues. Do you remember the lap green story?
Yeah.
Okay. We had problems. It's because of this propensity to sell, find an equity partner. You have found an equity partner in Mopani. How have you progressed? Or is not, in fact, an equity partner who paid nothing to you, to the owners of the mine, right? So this one is not even an equity partner because they put no equity. Because the contract, the information we saw was that this particular investor was going to inject money into Mopani after it had become theirs. So the equity they got, it was for nothing. So if you come and hear the same thing on Zamtel, no, we are finding an equity partner for Zamtel, you are in problems. You are in big problems. You see, where you have a situation where all of these assets that have been given away have performed very poorly. Tazama has performed poorly. Yeah, when you come to to Indeni has performed extremely poorly. But if this extended, for example, to Zamtel, namwikala mwaisango fiat equity partner Zamtel, and the network, have you seen how the network has become bad? The country will become worse. So what happened to Tazama? What happened to what do you call Indeni? What happened to Mopani? Should not happen to Zamtel. It should not. If it does, you have a problem. Same with all other companies that belong to government, to the people of Zambia. None of them should be sold. None of them should be sold. So what you need to do is to improve these companies for the benefit of the people. This country does not belong to UPND. It belongs to the people of Zambia.
Now, let me take you back to the fact that you criticize government a lot as far as government's borrowing is concerned. How will you then, finance large-scale job creation programs without expanding in debt?
Okay, so UPND found a national budget at 119 billion kwacha in 2021. This was the national budget. Today, the national budget is at 253.1 billion kwacha, 5 years later. Now, these are substantive budgets before you add supplementary budgets. Okay? If you add the 20 billion supplementary budget in 2019 and add 26 billion supplementary in 2026, these numbers will go up. Do you see this? You are also coming from a period of 2 billion kwacha illicit financial flows in 2021. 2 billion kwacha illicit financial flows in 2021. You have come to a period of $3.5 billion illicit financial flows in 2026. So, there are several ways of expanding the economy. In fact, because we're talking about economic transformation, we have the mining sector in sight. We have the agriculture sector in sight. We have all these other sectors in sight. Primarily, we want to assure that electricity will be provided, that it will be available and affordable. When you do that, you reduce the cost of doing business for all of the people. You have to assure that energy in all its required forms will be available and affordable. What has happened under the UPND government is that the energy sector has just been destroyed completely. Because if it wasn't, you can't imagine people and companies being load-shedded for 3 years plus. You can't imagine that. But also, the cost of the substitute energy source, which is diesel and petrol, have also, exponentially gone up, even against the promise that UPND gave. So you have to look critically at how you should be able to provide these critical enablers. And then you create an environment of predictability in terms of the provision of these particular services to the people and companies. Then companies can plan more effectively. When companies feel comfortable that they are able to plan and that their plans can bear or can produce value to the extent of their expectation, they will invest more in enterprises. This is how you create more jobs. Listen, when you create more business, what you are doing is actually creating more business. Because with an expanded business portfolio, you create more business opportunities for suppliers of goods and services. And those by themselves, they create more businesses for, or should I say more opportunities for their employees. Their employees are us. It's you and me, Zaki. It's the community members who are going to buy sweets from that kiosk near you at the corner of your street. They are the ones who are going to buy bread. Do you see this? But the baker also may have to reduce the cost of bread because the amount that they are putting into the production cost reduces because these implements are more affordable and they are more predictable. They are assured. So it's interconnected. It's a business environment, but all this comes from, a governance perspective which looks at the bigger picture, not just looking at a few individuals and a few foreigners. Foreigners who bring money into this country are so important and so critical, and they have to be cared for. But much more, the Zambian people, whose country this is. Because without this country, that foreigner would not even come to the country. But because this country exists and it has the resources that the investors want to come and exploit, then the investors are attracted. But we must create an environment which offers them assurance. This is why we are saying the rule of law under the Tonse Alliance led by President Brian Mundubile will be the rule of law. People will have to play according to the rule book, not according to expectations of some individuals. Where if you are beaten up by a political cadre, like this Black Apple was beaten up, even when you know who beat him up, you can't effect an arrest. But meanwhile, you are looking for the Tonse Alliance security personnel who were just dispersing, misbehaving UPND cadres who were stoning, vehicles that were carrying Brian Mundubile and Makebi Zulu in Chawama. That is not the rule of law. That is the rule of man. The rule of man will be eliminated from this country for good. We'll create a better environment.
This is the Tuesday edition of The Burning Issue here on 5FM 899. And of course, we are live on our partner media houses, Katete FM in Katete. We're live on BMTV here in Lusaka on channel 114. That is on Topstar. Also live on Spice FM in Kabwe, ZFM in Kapiri, Platinum Radio in Indola. We are live also on Tuta FM in Mansa, not forgetting also live here in Lusaka and along the line of rail on Millennium Radio on 90.5 in Lusaka, 93.5 in Kabwe, Kapiri Posh 93.9, and Ndola, Luanshampongwe and surrounding areas as well on 100.1, not forgetting Isunga FM. Also in Senga Hill in Northern Province. We will be taking phone calls now on the numbers 0955221515. Remember, you can leave us a comment on our Facebook page. I've seen a couple. We'll see and see if we can read out a few. Also, remember to leave us a comment on the BMTV Facebook page as well. So let's take our first call. Good morning.
Hello? Yes, good morning.
Morning to you. Thank you very much for calling. Please share your name and where you're calling us from.
Shepherd calling from Angola.
Shepherd.
Yes.
Yes, Shepherd, go ahead. We are grateful that you've called. Please go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I've been following you where you are coming out. I think the plans are good and you are giving checks and balances to the government. But my worry for you politicians is that you are good in talking. You are very good. Because if it is to go back, you are running the government. Why didn't you use those ideas to revamp our economy? Because one thing that surprises me is that why do you not use those opportunities when you are given an opportunity? So that is my word. So it gives me a thought of you are just there to enrich yourself, not to serve the Zambians. Because if you are given a chance, use that chance wisely, and so that when you pass, you give another chance to others, and just be an observer and give you an idea. So to me, I think so can you please pick it up and speak to it that solutions, problems, and that part. That is my take. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Shepherd from Ondola, for that. The number again is 0955221515. That's the number you are calling to get through to the Tuesday edition of The Burning Issue. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, sir?
Not too bad. Thank you. Welcome to the program. Please share your name and where you're calling us from.
This is Peter Zenas.
Peter Zenas. Where are you calling us from?
Mutotwe, how are you?
I'm well, thank you, Mr. Venas.
Okay. To me, I've got questions. Kafwaya, you are given this device. What is the machine? How to make them condemn? Some implementation. You were there, you were given the platform, but you did not do them. What assurance do you have that you are going to do better this time? Because when you're given an opportunity, you don't wait for the second opportunity. Second opportunity just comes once. Rule of law and the rule of right now, rule of law, yes, you cannot finish everything at once. Bit by bit with my push because it's not something that you just wake up at totally up. But look at the way the country is now. Look at the country, the way it's moving. So even and you think that Zambians are so weak in mind that they can bring you back? You have changed the color like a chameleon. Don't do that. Let people, 10 years, Peter. You were in power. You never brought that to the rule. You were just eating the money reserve. But today you are saying, no, are you going to protect the 6.7 billion that is left in reserve? That's the only thing that I wanted to say.
Thank you. Thank you, Zenas, for your contribution or your question. We'll take some more on 0955221515. The other number you can get us on is 0761 912493. We have a caller. Good morning. Mwashubuka Jean Mayo. Atibani.
Bana kaonga kukabwe.
Bana kaonga.
Mkwai.
Kukabwe kulishani.
Kukabwe kulise bwino lukungu fe kuno tata twafwa.
Mkwai.
Ndera ndana bana ndo guest church bukwe.
Ba Kafwaya.
Ba mtoto Kafwaya. Munishani mkwai.
Mayo ndife bwino na totera sana.
Mkwai. Ara mtoto Kafwaya. Murelo ndo kafe bwino tata. Ifi mwamono mwina Zambia onse na imapasweka. Ifi mule mwana na wa UPNG na gaterententa. Ba isi zeji abona abafunya nankane timetable. Iyo yakwepera baaka indama kokwe batkwendoko balefwayo kuri konse. Ero ifo ba opposition ati twakula tureba lapo kuchipata ifo ba NRP UP. Mwamona so balefwano balete chifulunganya. So na ifo chifulunganya tutatulefwa fwe na Zambia. Bamtoto Kafwaya apanomba abantu benda na marejo kumatwi. Benda na mafoni kuminwe kutambe chalo pochiri. Baka inde ikirema bali ona ule chalo. Bali tulana siste kwacho bunga. Bali tulana siste nani top kwacha fuel. Bali tulaya sisi ngina petrol 250 bana wale bikane mitengo. Ita manifesto ya botaira apwa. Na kairi bapanga India tiyo bale tuletera ama airport. Yo bale fushensha ama Honda. Ushetulima fontini kwa na Zambia. Awe na tupiribuka. Apanomba ni Brian mundu bile. Ila ikiride yaka. Ila mpinyapa peta. Tuwe okupotwale okuposhanya memino tuwashafeshi. Ila iti. Toba UPNG mwakamba late. Apapena muleya. Whether you like it or not. Muleya.
Twatotera mkwai.
Tweka pano bamtoto Kafwaya tukosensie.
Thank you. Thank you bana kaonga twatasha ukabwe. Allow me to just take two more calls on 0955221515 or indeed 0761912493. If I can just squeeze in two more, and then I can give you an opportunity to respond adequately. So the number again is 0955221515. Good morning.
Zaki, mwabombeni wa Banda wesu.
Twabomba fe wino mkwai kachumwa bombeni.
Tuli ba mutende.
Mkwai atibani muletu mina kui.
Mutotwe Kafwaya. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Thank you so much.
Atinivani muletu mina kui.
Bachamala ni kuzinga lume Lusaka.
Mkwai bachama.
Ba mwana chama pole bafika nomba. Baka ba Mutotwe.
Mkwai.
Abena Zambia balikulu balirwenu. Abena Zambia balefwaya mubanubule. Bantu mulomo twaisayikala. Muchirongano cha UPNG wakateka liba haka inde ichilema. Tuikele munsokonsokwe. Andote mulera ndaiya abapo ni rule of law. Rule of law waisa pilibula nomba yaba ni rule of man. Inenga na lande HV. Pantu nchaba muchipani chabo nishina bantandala. Wa UPND anato befunde pantu abanabo bala mutana protect. Na bakapokola taba muikata na kumuikatoyo awe. Epo tuafika pano. Erocho na totera bena Zambia chakwe bati. Balole shabo enebeka. Muri black atisha ni blackout ya Zambia 4 years. 2 years batuletera ko 2 months batuletera malaichi pantutira kuma election. Na beshilo chocho akwe bati. Ufi babepere kwati. Nikali akamwana kakuivele. Beba bena Zambia na veluka. Apa Mutotwe ndelani. anga mwaisa kumye sukulima olokuma tero constituent ifima mota fyabonga fire pita barusaka beke yaba yoyomba bare batambafye batireka mundubiri apite yiyatata olo watira ipika kubutuka uyo mwone fire ipika kumotoka yaba Tonse and Aliance partners ebo chifuiri okuba imwe bombe sheni parapa shirire balungu epo mwambire patutwale kwata party after party bushe munzera n'amaso ya pieces kutwa yapanga party after party nga mwaisa kuno kumungwiroji ibaranda tipamarati Daktari Zambia bali salaba na bali batanchi ya machito Zambia yonse nemba ya economy ama wekazi ama company yakulira kwi ile tule mwana ama company bale isalomu ndo road shedding tombi papata ubu teko bulea pantu
twatera
program ya bwena Zambia
twatasha bachama
matumba na basuji right
thank you
matumba na magod
thank you
baita mkwewa mwina Zambia na chitechi na masoya pieces
bachama twatasha mkwai let me give you one more and then I can allow you to respond on 0955221515 0761912493. Those are the two numbers you are calling us on the Tuesday edition of the Burning Issue. So we take this one. Good morning. Twashibuka mwashibuka jani
twabuka pakuingira fepene apalishufa honorable Mutotwe.
Good morning, thank you so much.
Ativani ero muletu mina kuima bamdar.
Laura is calling from Ndola Copperbelt.
How is Ndola today?
Ndola is fine. We are just eager to vote out this UPND government. We are waiting.
Please make your contribution.
Okay, my submission is Honorable Kafwaya.
Yes, sir.
I think in a funding of your advice. Anyway, Bulelanda buno sane sintu buno sane siyakwata wonso mwina Zambia kutafyumva. It's on the lomba coffee. Because most Zambians have already decided. Actually, the block ya kuchipata ya radi ya Tonse. We thought of maybe the kwaikala semwetu ambo kulorela seka tualita decide kale. And to abantu because of their desperation, we don't trust these people. We don't trust them. There is no way abantu abashiri muchipani ngabalanda kufepa nono nishimwaikata unless ebo mulina bena takuri they are immune. Look at what happened to our sisters when they talked about the death of VCL. The social media this time around, each and every day, the UPND media platforms, they are busy insulting the cops, which is uncalled for. It's an abomination. Ukula tukechtumbi each and every day. Bala tukana each and every day. Uriaombia tena there's a man who featured one of the media that no, Lungu was just killed by some drug dealer or something like that. He's really moving around. Malonzo Sichone Balande, where is Malonzo Sichone? He was arrested there. Fooling us to say no, he has not been arrested. He has been just detained. If what to live another no to a papa taba UPND to anaka na imwe. The rule of law mlande apakanoya pakano pamienu. We are not children. Zambians are more intelligent than you think.
Thank you.
We know what we are going to do. Just wait patiently and you'll be shocked what is going to come out on 13th August 2020.
Thank you, Lawrence.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. There you have it. Briefly, let's respond, especially to those where you feel you need to adequately respond.
Yeah, I mean, yes. Thank you, Zaki. Right. I think I'll respond to all of them.
Okay.
But the last caller, Mr. Lawrence from Ndola, he touched my nerve actually when he speaks about the insults being howled at our fallen hero,
right?
President Edgar Lungu. in his expectation, those who are doing these despicable acts ought to be taken to task, but to his surprise, none of them. I have to remind him that there was a time, even when some UPND cadres were dancing, ridiculing, the late president, and they were doing so with a UPND minister. A minister under the UPND, they were dancing, Twami Kwenyula Katumbi and so on and so forth. A minister was there. UPND minister, not an ordinary Zambian, but a minister, a UPND minister. And that was normal, according to the UPND. So anyway, we will leave this to UPND, as we have left the issue of the burial to the wishes of the family, as well as the late president's own wishes. And personally, I pray for their wishes to come true. But yes, we are not young children. And listen, these are Zambian people who are saying we are not young children. We are reasonable people. We are reasonable Zambians. We see what UPN has been doing. We see the biased manner in which the law is applied. Malozo Schone has been given an example here. It is true. And the proposal, lekeni campaign, the Tonse Alliance, stop campaigning, because according to Lawrence, the Zambian people are already decided. And you see, when somebody calls from Undola and says the Zambian people are already decided, this is a person who is able to decipher what is going around, the communities around Undola, and is aware. And I think he probably saw what happened when the President Mundubile and his running mate went to church in Chipulukusu. So the message is clear for all of us. It is clear for all of us. Let me now go to the first call. Shepherd, what are your plans? I think we have spent time here talking about how we want to make this country better. But he's saying you are good at talking. No, you may be, you see, if you listen to UPND and you listen to us, don't mistake us for UPND. We are not the ones who promised the milimi at 50 kwacha, as was said by Ivana Kaonga. It is not us who promised fertilizer 50 kg bag at 250 kwacha. It is UPND. So don't take the good talking of UPND and their failure to deliver to us. And further says you had this privilege in the past. Why didn't you do the things that you were doing? But listen, if you are calling from Ndola, don't you know that we already have an international airport in Ndola? Don't you know that we have the Kafwaya Dam in Ndola? Even though UPND today is promising 10 airports in 10 provinces, which is actually sick in my view. How do you talk about constructing 10 international airports in 10 provinces when in fact you already have 3 provinces which have international airports? You have Southern Province, there's already an international airport there. Lusaka Province has got an international airport. Copper Belt has got an international airport. How can you target 10 in 10 provinces? So are you telling me here in Lusaka, for example, you want to build another airport, maybe in Fera, Luangwa there, or you want to build it in Chisamba or Chibombo, or do you want to build one in Kafwaya or in Chongwe? What are you talking about? You see, some of these pronouncements are actually, not normal. They are completely abnormal. Okay? But building these airports, in all of these provinces, you build international airports. They are for what? What are they for? Because when people arrive in Ndola, it is less than 1 hour to land at Kasama Airport. It is less than 40 minutes to land in Nimansa. Okay? If you are going into Livingstone, already has one. Okay, and we have Mfuwe, by the way. Mfuwe is an international airport. So in 4 provinces, you already have international airports. But today, UPND can stand before the people and say, tukakula 10 airports in all 10 provinces, tukakula mama 10 airports. I don't find that promise being realistic. I also don't find it as a normal promise. I find it completely abnormal. Abantu mukakulira international airport ku Central Province. Bakala mukuchita kwenshi ku Central Province. Mukumona Broken Hill. Broken Hill, the bonds for Broken Hill are in London. Is it in London or Italy? One of the two. They are in Europe. So those who will be landing there, abakalaya kumongu not Mongu, but Western Province in general. You build an international airport in Western Province, bakalaya mkuchita kwenshi. Kuomboka happens once in a year. Sometimes it doesn't even happen. You understand? You see, UPND is a government which would contradict the people who know. Did you hear Zesco saying that prepare for an El Nino by investing in solar? And then you're going to hear they are talking about anyway. So at that time when we had an opportunity, we were doing what needed to be done then. We needed to expand health infrastructure. That's why there were 650 health posts which were built. So you can't say then we needed to do what we are saying now. Time does not stop simply because Honorable Kafwaya was once in government. And he ends by saying what Zambians need is help. He recognizes that the Zambian people need help. And yes, help is coming because Brian Mundubile is serious about helping the Zambian people. This is why he has made tenable promises to the Jerabos. He has made tenable promises to mega miners. You know, this big company mine, he has made tenable promises to create an environment for them to thrive and be able to create value not only for themselves, but for the people for whose resources they are exploiting. Okay? So what we are saying is that you will get help, and help is coming. Peter, how much did you reserve? I think sometimes when you're asking questions, particularly specific questions like this, how much did you leave? That's the first thing we talked about. And I told you, okay, we had about $2.9 billion. And there was around, $1.3 billion in special drawing rights. That gave you a figure of around 4.2 billion. So we were $4.2 billion there about, just to repeat. And we did say, you have now increased it, by how much? By 2.3 to make your $6.4 billion. This increase has happened in the last 5 years. But I reminded you that it is in these 5 years that these reserves have not served your interest as a people, because UPND has load-shedded you for how long? For 3 years plus. So even if you are singing about these reserves today, whose reserves are they for? Do you make reserves for Bank of Zambia or for UPND? No, you don't. You actually create reserves for the people so that when you are in trouble, you fall back on these reserves. Did UPND fall back on this to import more power so that they avoid road shedding you? No, they did not. Instead, what they were doing is sending money by mistake to China. More money being sent away from ZESCO to China. And up to now, that money has not even come back. A serious government can't send $82 million away by mistake and just leave it hoping that ikatalala. It's like, the other caller reminded me about Sujirite. Huh? When I talked about the trade at the, presidential pavilion, the illegal trade of gold at the presidential pavilion, I did not talk about, Sujirite scandals. But what I forget myself, the people there have not forgotten. You need to know that. The people have not forgotten about lithium. They haven't forgotten about all of those scandals, the illegal audits. People have not forgotten about, the illegal cancellation of hunting concessions in the Ministry of, Tourism. They have not. A few of us can forget, but abantu bali tukwatoto, and when they start telling you, then you realize that nachipwa. Okay, bana kuluka onga. Batula 12 quarts per liter of 250. Nomba bambo kula yama 10 airports in 10 provinces. Did Alan Chama say something? Should we ignore him? No, we should not. Alan, I can't agree with you more. I can't agree with you more. What he tries to depict in his submission, because we know about all of these things, the popularity of Brian Mundubile and Makebi. How the people are ignoring the UPND campaigns. And Mundubile na Makebi vengile. Then you see how people are coming out. It's not the song, my friend. It is the treatment that UPND subjected the Zambian people to, which is causing this reaction. People see hope. I agree with you, Lawrence. Maybe we should stop campaigning.
We have to come to a close. And your concluding remarks.
Zach, I love you. The same way I love the Zambian people. The same way I love my country. All we want to see is a better country. More united, a country that produces opportunities for its people. This is why Brian Mundubile and Makebi Zulu are saying, Nakulu mutinta pamakasane misepela. He needs to create an environment where you can survive in a far much better way than you are doing right now.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mutotwe Kafwaya, for coming, and we can only wish you all the best as Tonse Alliance. It's a crucial time for you, and of course, we just pray that as you get into these campaigns, now that you have a schedule for presidential candidates, we wish you peace and well. Thank you very much. Sir. Well, there you have it. Our guest for today was Mr. Mutotwe Kafwaya. He is the chairman of finance in the Tonse Alliance. And of course, we had discussed a lot of issues, including economy as well as politics in it. Well, do join Uncle Frank or Ambassador Frank Mutubila on Thursday with the Thursday edition of The Burning Issue. From all of us here, first of all, we thank our partner radio stations that carried this program live on their respective platforms. And from all of us here, it's take care of yourselves and more so of each other. Bye-bye.